That Monday morning started like any other. I walked across the parking lot behind our office building in Austin, coffee in hand, mind already drifting to the 9 o'clock meeting. The sun was barely up. The lot was mostly empty. And then I saw him, a man in a worn military jacket, stepping out from behind the dumpster, walking straight toward me. He stopped 6 feet away and said words that made my blood run cold. "I buried something under your car last night. Do not move it." Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you are watching from today. Drop a comment below with your city or country. And if you have not already hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, trust me, you do not want to miss how this story unfolds. To understand why that morning changed everything, I need to take you back a few weeks to the moment my life seemed to be going perfectly, a little too perfectly. My name is Shane, and at 32 years old, I thought I had finally figured out how to build a good life. I worked as a software engineer at Technova Solutions, a tech company that had been growing fast in the Austin area. For 4 years, I had poured everything I had into that job. Late nights debugging code, weekends spent learning new programming languages. Missed birthday parties and postponed vacations because there was always one more deadline, one more project that needed my attention. 3 weeks before that morning in the parking lot, my director, Linda Torres, called me into her office. She was a sharp woman in her mid-40s, known for being fair but demanding. When she asked me to sit down and close the door, my stomach tightened. In my experience, closed-door meetings rarely brought good news. But that day was different. "Shane," she said, leaning back in her chair, "I have been watching your work for the past year. The Henderson project, the database migration, the way you mentored the junior developers. You have shown consistent excellence. That is why I am promoting you to senior developer, effective immediately." I sat there stunned. Senior developer. The position I had been working toward for years. The position that came with a significant raise, more responsibility, and most importantly, recognition that my sacrifices had meant something. That night, I called my mother. My voice cracked when I told her the news. She cried. I almost did too. I started dreaming bigger. Maybe I could finally buy a house instead of renting that cramped apartment. Maybe I could propose to my girlfriend of 2 years. Everything felt possible, but not everyone shared my joy. Derek Holloway had been with the company for 7 years, 3 years longer than me. He was smart, capable, and absolutely certain that the senior developer position was his. When Linda announced my promotion at the team meeting, Derek was the first to shake my hand. He smiled wide, patted my shoulder, and said all the right words. But his eyes told a different story. They were cold, empty, like someone had switched off a light inside him. In the days that followed, I noticed small changes. Derek stopped inviting me to lunch, something we had done together at least twice a week for years. His emails became short and cold. In meetings, he started challenging my ideas with an edge in his voice that had never been there before. One afternoon, I overheard him talking to another colleague near the break room. I was not eavesdropping. I just happened to be walking by when his voice carried through the half-open door. "Some people just get lucky, I guess," he said. 4 years versus 7 years, and they pick the new guy. Makes you wonder what the criteria really are. I walked away before he could see me. I told myself he just needed time. We were still colleagues. We still had to work together. Creating conflict would not help anyone. Looking back, I realize how naive I was. I mistook his silence for acceptance. I thought his coldness was just wounded pride. I never imagined he was planning something far more sinister. The Monday morning that changed everything started normally. I woke up at 6:30, showered, grabbed coffee from the kitchen, and drove to work. I always parked in the far corner of the lot because I arrived early, and those spots were usually empty and quiet. As I walked toward the building, I noticed movement near the dumpsters at the edge of the property. A shadow shifted. I assumed it was someone taking a smoke break and did not think much of it. Then the shadow stepped forward. He was older, maybe late 50s, with a thick gray beard and weathered skin. His olive-green military jacket was faded and worn at the elbows. His jeans had holes at the knees, but his eyes were sharp, clear, completely sober. That was what struck me most. This was not a man lost in confusion or intoxication. This was a man who knew exactly what he was saying. He stopped about 6 feet away from me, maintaining a respectful distance, and spoke in a voice that was hoarse but steady. "Listen to me carefully," he said. "I buried something under your car last night. It was not me who put it there, I just covered it so no one would see. Do not move your car. Do not call the cops yet. Let me explain first." My coffee cup trembled in my hand. Every instinct screamed at me to run, to get away from this stranger with his bizarre claims. But something in his gaze held me there. He did not look crazy. He looked concerned, almost protective. "You have 2 minutes," I heard myself say. "Talk." The man nodded slowly, as if he had expected my suspicion. "My name is Marcus," he said. "I have been sleeping behind that dumpster for about 3 months now. Lost my wife to cancer 5 years back. Lost my job not long after depression hit me hard, and I could not keep it together. Eventually lost my apartment too. But that is not important right now. What is important is that I see everything that happens in this parking lot at night. And last night, I saw something that did not sit right with me." I remained frozen, listening. Around 2 in the morning, Marcus continued. "A black sedan pulled into the lot, parked a few spaces down from your car. A man got out, medium height, lean build, moved like he knew exactly what he was doing. He walked straight to your car, got down on the ground, and reached under the frame. Stayed there for maybe a minute. Then he stood up, got back in his car, and drove off." "How do you know it was my car?" I asked. Marcus pointed at my vehicle. "That blue Honda Civic with the dented bumper. You park in the same spot every morning. I have seen you coming and going for months. I know which car is yours." My throat went dry. "What did he put under there? I did not touch it," Marcus said. "After he left, I crawled over to take a look. There is a small plastic bag taped to the underside of your frame. I did not want to mess with it, but I covered it with dirt and leaves, so it would not be obvious if someone came looking before you got here." "Why would you do that? Why warn me?" Marcus was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice carried the weight of someone who had seen too much in his life. "I served 2 tours in the Gulf War," he said. "I have seen what people do to each other when they want something bad enough. That man last night was not fixing your car at 2 in the morning. He was setting you up for something, and whatever is in that bag, I am guessing it is not anything good." My mind raced through possibilities. A tracking device, some kind of evidence to frame me. And then a darker thought crept in, one I did not want to acknowledge, but could not ignore. "Drugs." "I need to see it," I said. Marcus nodded. "I figured you would." I walked to my car on legs that felt like they belonged to someone else. My hands shook as I knelt down on the asphalt, ignoring the sharp pebbles digging into my knees. I pulled out my phone, activated the flashlight, and aimed it under the frame. At first, I only saw metal and shadow. Then I noticed the disturbance in the dirt. Marcus had mentioned a small mound of debris that looked unnatural. I brushed it aside carefully, and my heart stopped. A clear plastic Ziploc bag was taped securely to the underside of my car. Inside was a white powder. I sat back on my heels, the world spinning around me. I knew what that looked like. Anyone would. And I knew exactly what would happen if a police officer ever pulled me over and decided to search my vehicle. No one would believe a software engineer who claimed someone else planted drugs on his car. My career, my freedom, my entire future, all of it could be destroyed in an instant. "Who did this?" I whispered, more to myself than to Marcus. But Marcus had one more piece of information. "I got a look at his face when he stood up," Marcus said. "Under the parking lot lights. I do not know his name, but I have seen him before walking in and out of your building like he works there. And there was something else I noticed. He was wearing a watch with a blue band. Navy blue. Stood out against his dark clothes. Navy blue watch band." The words echoed in my skull. I knew exactly one person who wore a navy blue watch band every single day. Derek Holloway had an Apple Watch with a navy blue sport band, a birthday gift from his wife, he had told me once, showing it off in the break room. No, it could not be. But even as I tried to deny it, the pieces clicked together with sickening clarity. The cold looks, the passive-aggressive comments, the barely concealed resentment every time my promotion was mentioned. Derek had not just been jealous. Derek had decided to destroy me. I sat there in the parking lot, staring at the bag under my car, feeling something crack inside my chest. 4 years of working together. Countless lunches, shared jokes, exchanged problems, solved side by side. I had helped him when his project was falling behind last year, stayed late 3 nights in a row to debug his code so he would not miss his deadline. I thought we were colleagues, maybe even friends, and this was how he repaid me. Marcus crouched down beside me. His voice was gentle when he spoke. "I know that look," he said. "Someone you trusted did this, did they not?" I could barely get the words out. "I thought we were friends. We have worked together for 4 years. Marcus placed a weathered hand on my shoulder. "The ones closest to you can cut the deepest. But right now you have got 2 choices. Crumble, or fight back. I looked at him, this stranger, this homeless veteran who had no reason to help me, who could have simply looked the other way and minded his own business. But he had not. He had warned me. He had given me a chance. I was not going to waste it. I am going to fight, I said. The first thing I needed was evidence. Derek was smart. He would not have done this without some kind of plan to cover his tracks. But he had made one critical mistake. He did not know anyone was watching. I asked Marcus to stay nearby in case I needed a witness later. He agreed without hesitation. I have got nowhere else to be anyway, he said with a grim smile. And honestly, I want to see that guy get what he deserves. My next stop was the security office near the building entrance. The night guard, a man named Ray in his early 60s, was just finishing his shift when I arrived. Ray was known around the office as a friendly presence. He always remembered people's names and asked about their weekends. More importantly, I knew he was aware of Marcus. "Morning, Shane," Ray said when I walked in. "You are here early, even for you." I kept my voice steady. "Ray, I need a favor. I think someone might have tampered with my car last night. I need to see the security footage from the back lot to file an insurance claim. Would that be possible?" Ray frowned with concern.